Hey guys, I told you I'm coming everywhere on this tour, and I was not lying. This Wednesday, the pre-sale starts. Go to tomsegura.com/tour. Use the code word Tommy for pre-sale access, Tommy. The general on sale is this Friday, but if you want tickets before anybody else, you have to use that code word Tommy starting this Wednesday at 10 a.m. local time, and these dates are going to take you through June, and of course, many more dates are coming. Thank you for supporting me. I will see you out on tour. I was getting into smoking too much, where I was like, oh yeah, you know, I was loving it, and I was like, I'm just going to get terrible with this. Yeah. So I cut it out. You know? But I did it for 5 years. 5? Yeah. Wow. Well, I just mean I started. I shouldn't have ever started.
What a fucking hero.
100%. Cheers.
This episode of Two Bears, One Cave is brought to you by Blue Chew. It's summer camping season. Let's talk about pitching tents. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, confidence can take you far in life. It can also help in the bedroom, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate. And that's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and your dick will get hard again. The best part, it's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it comes time to perform, Blue Chew can help. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code BEARS at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. Promo code BEARS to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. I am a huge fan of Liquid IV. This is no joke. I really do drink this stuff every day. It comes in these little pouches. You just tear it open, you pour it into your water, and you're hydrating yourself more than you would with just drinking water. I don't know how they do it. I'm not even interested in how they do it. I just know that I'm hydrating more every time I drink my Liquid IV. I've got bags of this stuff, and you should get it too. It's summertime. You're already dehydrated. Get this Liquid IV in your system and try to catch up to me. I'm the water god, and I stay hydrated. You got to stay feeling good, feeling hydrated, feeling rested. All of that is obtained when you are hydrating yourself, and you can do that with Liquid IV. 1 stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water. You get 2 to 3 times faster and more efficient hydration than water alone. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code BEARS at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using the promo code BEARS at liquidiv.com. I'm so mad that I didn't get to try Coke before I
Yeah. Have you tried it at all?
Never.
Oh, well.
I've never tried Coke, but I'm kind of bummed about it, you know?
Yeah, but it's one of those things, Tom, it's always there for you. You know, you can, it's just one guy away usually.
Yeah, I mean, I can get it, but I feel like now it's too irresponsible.
Sure, it'd be stupid. Not, but driving a sports car really fast and playing basketball at 50.
I'm fucking 42, man.
Sorry.
Do you know how often people are like, I thought you were 55? And I'm like, I'm more than a decade younger than you think.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's also been my entire life.
Oh, you just look older?
I mean, at every, when I was 17, I could go into bars and they'd be like, hello, sir.
Oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, well, Coke is, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's your bag. Not everybody takes to it.
Yeah.
It might not be your thing.
Was it immediate for you? Like the first time you're like, this is the shit?
Well, it was sort of, I'm trying to remember. I was in high school and the boss at the restaurant that I was working at had it. And I don't think it was, the first time I did it, I thought it was great. But eventually, I thought it was great. It was more of a Ritalin effect. I'd get jacked up and it would just be like, hey, man, things are really okay. They're okay.
Yeah, things are all right.
Yeah,
okay.
They're really good. And more things are going to happen soon.
Yeah. Dude, I like that.
Yeah, it's great. But unfortunately, it kind of turns on you because, you're the guy at the bar, 10 minutes until closing time thinking like, shit's going to turn around.
Yeah.
Any minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any minute that they're all going to come in. It's going to be a party.
Cool stuff's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. That chick's going to, get her head off the bar and realize how amazing I am.
Yeah. I guess I feel like I had nights like that with alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the thing. The guys who were boozers that got into Coke primarily did it because they could drink more and longer.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Because I think most people that got involved with Coke that weren't buying half ounces and, eight balls reasonable. But I mean, it was to drink longer and to drink more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is your body still reacts to the amount of alcohol that you put in it, no matter what kind of Coke you're on.
Right. The booze is not like, oh, it's diffused now.
No. Yeah. And my problem with the blow was there was always guys who had connections for things to get you down.
Yeah.
I forget what this guy, I just interviewed a guy who was a dope guy, a director, John.
Would you need
John
that
Swab.
though? Would you need to get down?
Well, no, eventually, because you want to be laying in there in bed, after the Coke high is over, it's just your heart pounding and you wondering if you're going to die and how long you can jerk off for.
Yeah.
When that's the good part is that,
right.
It's like if you don't have Valium or you don't have something to get you down, you just jerk off like a monkey for hours, and that doesn't even work.
And you're like, that doesn't put you down.
No, and sometimes you got to do it twice, and it's sad, it's hard, it's different. You can come without a boner by the third time just because you're pulling at it so hard. Yeah, that's the fun part of Coke, Tom.
That I've had those not fully hard orgasms. And you're like, this isn't supposed to happen like this.
The shower orgasms. I don't know. Yeah. I guess you got to be careful with those because if your dick gets used to it, it's going to be a problem.
Definitely. Dude, you remind me too of, I remember I went to Boston after I graduated college and I met this chick that worked at a bar. Yeah. And I would just go to the bar and she was like, well, I get off, when we close, which I don't know, it was like 2 a.m. or something. Yeah. So I would just show up there at 11 or something. Right. And then by 2, she's like, you're hammered. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting at a bar waiting for you to fucking, what am I supposed to do here? Just drink water for 3 hours? Oh, God. So she was like, God, you always get so fucked up. Yeah. Like, you put me on all these around booze. Yeah.
I was just talking to this friend of mine last night about this. Yeah. Cause I've been sober a long time, but we were listening to, The Replacements, and then that song "Here Comes a Regular," which is like just a sad song, about that guy, Yeah. And I remember I'm old, I'm 57. There's times in my life where I've been a regular at a bar, and that's what you do if if you go to that. You're there to fucking get drunk, and have somebody go, "You all right to drive?" Like, yeah. Yeah. Well, of course I am.
You're always all right to
Always
drive.
all right to drive.
Yeah, I think about the fact that I don't have a DUI is so insane to me.
Dude,
so many times.
I wrecked a car. It was what a fucking story that was.
You actually wrecked a car?
Shit-faced.
And did you get arrested?
No, it was a miracle. It was a miracle. But I used to work at a restaurant in Boston. Sponsors.
It's a sponsor.
Isn't it great that we've all been able to live our dreams as mediocre radio personalities on our own terms? Who knew that there would come a time in the world where everybody could just be an okay radio personality?
Isn't the celebration though that it's actually like a real company? It's not like Jim's Coffee.
Look, I got we don't do Starbucks, but we've done some shit.
Yeah,
we've done. Am I on this show or am I on another show?
You're on this show.
This is the show I'm on.
You're sitting in for Bert. Shirtless. Yeah.
Where is he, laughing to himself on stage somewhere?
He's in Serbia shooting a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I saw some footage of that.
Oh, yeah? Did you see the footage of his mattress?
No, I just saw him in the street wandering around. So, I worked at a place in Brookline, Massachusetts called Matt Garrett's. And I used to work the day shift as a waiter. I was a terrible waiter. And then I just, change out of the Matt Garrett shirt and sit at the fucking bar.
At the place?
And close the place. Yeah, from...
The place that you work at?
Oh, yeah. And, they let me drink mostly for nothing, and all the tips that I made during the day would be gone, and I, kind of waddle out of there.
There's a novel right there, I feel like, right?
Drinking
like a really sad one.
I just remember, when someone turned me on to a Manhattan, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Do you remember those? Oh, you can still drink.
Yeah.
You're like a human that's capable of doing things.
Yeah.
You're a guy that can have a cocktail and not destroy everything in your life. I mean, good for you, man. You should
Thanks.
be
I'm real proud of it.
A Manhattan's like a martini with bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's just straight bourbon with a hit of vermouth. So the bourbon has no bite to it at all.
I don't even know that. Is that what that is?
Oh my God, it's the best. Do you like martinis?
I've never really drank because I don't like olives, and people are always like, "Oh, I have one."
You don't have to put an olive in it.
Okay.
The point of the martini is the vermouth because then you barely taste the vodka.
Oh.
And you can just drink straight alcohol like water. Get on board, dude.
I'm gonna get shit faced tonight.
At the store, I'll watch you.
Yeah, at the store. Let's go. I'll get fucked up there.
I'll just tell. It's the magic of vermouth. Oh, so how I avoided it getting arrested.
Yeah.
It's so funny because me and like Delray, Dean Delray,
Yeah.
we're doing a podcast called Dark Fonzie. And it's a different approach to the middle-aged guy sitting around talking because we got no kids.
Right.
He's got a dog. I got 2 cats.
Yeah.
So we just sort of sit around and talk about the dog and the cats. No cigar talk allowed.
And
there's no sports talk.
And he's
it's
sober
all,
too.
Yeah, he doesn't drink. It's all kind of music.
Yeah, that's
pants,
great. But you guys know a lot
boots,
about that's perfect though.
cats.
You guys are such the boots, pants, music guys though. Like if I want to hear about boots and pants and music,
I'm just
hitting
reaching
you
out
guys
to
up.
any of the audience that enjoys these 2 sluggos that might not be totally on board with the
if you're
thing.
over this bullshit we've been doing, then hit up that
You
show.
want to hear a couple of people with less problems? No wives, no cigars, no sports, just pure kind of like, hey man, it's kind of cool. We don't have all this responsibility of regular people.
Yeah, if you want to hear about Bert and my fantasy life, check out Mark and Dean.
Dark Fonzie.
Dark Fonzie.
Yeah. But okay, so here's what happens.
Yeah, so wait, first of all, how fucked up are you when you get in the car?
Well, here was the deal, man. Back when I started doing comedy in Boston, it was like a one-nighter thing. I paid all my dues doing one-nighters, right? So you drive out to wherever the fuck the gig was.
Yeah.
And, if you were opening, it was usually a 2-man show, half hour, opener, 45, closer. And that's how I learned how to do time, is probably opening somewhere. So I just remember I'm like down like on the Cape or somewhere. And then we tried to catch a rising star in Boston. Was sort of the hub for us, for my crew. We were not the downtown guys. We weren't the Knicks guys. We weren't the Gavins of the McDonald's. It was me and Louie and Dave Cross and guys like that.
Yeah.
But they'd let us drink for free there.
Right.
So, I'd drink at the fucking gig and then like I'd swam a couple and then I'm driving back just to get the free booze.
Yeah.
So I just remember getting there and like only having enough time to knock back. So I just remember getting shit-faced at Catch, getting in my car, and I'm going to go pick up the woman I was seeing at her house and take her over to Somerville, right? And it's like late. And all I know is like I pick her up and, I was not a happy guy. And I don't know what we were fighting about, but all I know is that I'm speeding back over into, from Alston to wherever. I just remember coming over a bridge at like 80, at night, shit-faced, yelling at her. And we get pulled over by a cop. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I know. He's like, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, we're fighting. And the guy just let me go. So like, he's like, all right, just
That guy
slow
fights
down.
a lot.
Slow down, right?
Yeah. He's like, my lady never shuts up.
And so, but this is the worst thing. It was just that was the first stroke of luck, I guess. I don't know, but we get to a block away from where I live, and we're still fighting. And I'm like, "Fuck you, fuck this! I'm taking you home." And I'm shit faced, and I cut this U-turn, and there's no room to navigate it. So I just slam it into a car that's parked. Like knock it up onto the fucking onto the curb, and I'm like, and it's like 2 a.m. I'm like, fuck, and we're a block away from my house, so all I'm thinking is like, gotta get home.
Yeah.
And the car's like, there's shit coming out, and I'm driving, and there's no way it's gonna drive. It's not gonna make it a block away. So I turn left, and then like at this point, people are coming out of their homes. Because they've heard the accident.
Sure, they heard a gun go off, basically. Yeah.
Right. So they're in bathrooms. It's like the end of a musical.
Yeah.
There's just like everyone's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
What was that?
fuck yeah. What is the commotion? Me. So, and of course, my girlfriend, we're not hurt, but we're standing there. The car is hissing and smoking. And then a cop comes and like, I'm fucked, man. And then another cop comes and the cop I'm dealing with, he's like, so what happened? I'm like, I took a U-turn, hit that car, and and it's like, so why is the car over here? Oh, I was trying to get home to call you guys.
Yeah. I wanted your help. Yeah.
I was just I just live over there, so I thought I'd get the car home and then call you guys. Like he was buying that.
Yeah.
He's like, so you left the scene of like, I don't know if that's, I guess so. Well, so I'm standing there. The car's fucked up. He's making me do the touch your nose.
Oh, he's making you do
yeah.
it.
And my girlfriend's sitting there watching this, the idiot that just hit a parked car.
Yeah.
Shit-faced. And now I'm doing the, walking backwards and touching my nose. And I'm like, fucked, man. And the car is immovable. And then this miracle happens. Like, another miracle, the second cop miracle of the night. Some other cops drive up and they're driving fast and they stop. And in my recollection, the cop in the car that pulls up says, there's some guy robbing the bakery right now. And all these cops, the two cops that were dealing with me were like, ooh, like kids. They're like, oh, we get, and the cop goes like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you get it home? I'm like, yeah, no problem. And he gives me a ticket for leaving the scene of property damage, and he splits. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
But it turns out that I had to go to court on that. I thought it was just like, where do you pay?
But it wasn't.
No, I didn't get
DUI
busted
style.
DUI. But I didn't realize that leaving the scene of property damages, you got to be arraigned for that.
Yeah.
You can't just like, how much is this ticket? Do you pay?
Yeah.
No, you got to go to court.
Dude, I didn't. I got before it became legal here.
Yeah.
When you first moved to LA, friends visit. There's like 4 places. You should see this.
Yeah, right.
I take the guy to.
What are the 4 that you
Well,
know
I
about?
think at the
Griffin
time
Observatory?
it was like that. It was like go on a hike at like Runyon Canyon. Go to like Venice Beach, or I knew a couple beaches in Malibu.
Go see like the cancerous dogs.
Go see
on
the
Venice
dogs
Beach.
coughing.
Yeah.
I took people to Malibu too because I was like, you want to see Malibu?
Yeah, and then there's nothing there. And you're just,
just
I
like,
guess we're here. Is this it?
This is the ocean.
Yeah. There's a supermarket.
So I take them on PCH.
Yeah.
And we go. We're in Malibu, and there are cars parked all up and down PCH, right?
Yeah.
And I find a gap, and I park. I'm one of 100 cars.
Yeah.
He's in the passenger seat, and he goes, "You want to smoke a bowl before we go to the beach?" And I go, "I'm good." He goes, "All right, I'm going to." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So he smokes, and then a California Highway Patrol guy passes us this way, and then he does a U-turn. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I see him come around, and then he pulls up in front. So this guy had just smoked, right? There's no smoke in the car anymore, but obviously it smells. He gets out of the car and walks up to my car, and he goes, "You can't park here." And I was like, there's like 200 cars parked here. And he goes, "Yeah, they're all illegally parked. I can tow every car here." I was like, "Are you gonna?" And he was like, you can't park here." And I go, "Okay.
Just you.
Just you." And I'm like, "All right, man." And he goes, "So who's smoking?" Yeah. He just says it like that. "Who's smoking?" And I'm trying to not like throw him under, but thinking that since I'm driving, he's gonna. So I kind of go like, I look at him, and my friend goes, "Nobody here, sir." And he goes,
he's the pro.
Yeah, he goes, "Get out of the fucking car." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You think I can't smell that?" Yeah. And I was like, "God damn." And I'm just looking at my friend like, "You fucking dipshit. Like, just say something." So then he takes me and he puts me in the back of his car.
Oh my God.
And he's like,
full treatment.
The full treatment.
Yeah.
He's like, he goes, "Where is it?" And I go, I really don't know. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it's his. I'm just saying it's not mine and I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay, we're going to play this game." Boom. Shuts the door. I was like, fuck, man. He takes him out of the car. It's a black car. Yeah. He's shirtless because we're about to go to the ocean. Cuffs him and lays him bare chested on the black car, right? Like in the heat. And my friend's like, "Ah!" I could hear him. He's like, "Fuck, it's hot." And I see him talking to him. Then he comes back to me. He goes, "Your friend says it's yours." And I go, "It's not. What are you talking about, man?"
He just
He's like trying to
you
pit
out.
it. Yeah. Well, I don't think he said that. I think he's trying to.
Oh, he's playing that game?
Yeah, playing the game.
Yeah,
He's
trying
like,
to find
he said
it.
it's yours. And I'm like, It's not. I don't have
The
it.
guy in the car, the guy cuffed on the car didn't talk.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's trying to. Wow.
Yeah, and
Held
so
as mud, huh?
he goes, all right. He goes, he comes back. He goes, I got it. It's your car, so it's yours. And I was like, and I get so nervous, right? I'm scared. I'm like, I go, is there anything I can do? And he goes, what? And I go, dude, I swear to God, I go, I'll
You
mow.
can have it?
I go, I'll mow your lawn. He's like, what? And I go, I'll mow your lawn for a year. And he's like, you'll mow my lawn. And I'm like, to not be in trouble? He's like, no. And I'm like, okay. So
That was all you had?
yeah, I didn't know what else to say. I was like, I thought that was a very nice offer. You have clean your lawn.
Yeah, we can't negotiate it.
Yeah, man, let's work this out. And so then he opens the door. He lets me out. He goes, you're getting a ticket? I'm like, fuck. And I'm thinking I'm going to jail. I'm like, am I going to jail? And he's like, no, you get a ticket and I'm going to tow your car. And I was like, where? And he's like, to one of these like places here. And I go, why? He goes, just to make it like difficult on you. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so just wait here for the tow truck.
Yeah.
And then you'll just go there and then you'll have to pay for that too and get that out. And I was like, just to like fuck up my day? And he was like, right. And I was like, okay. So we wait like 10 minutes and it's fucking hot. It was like July or something. And he's like, fuck it. He goes, it's so goddamn hot out here. I don't feel like waiting anymore. He goes, just get in your car. You know, we're not waiting for the tow truck. And I go, great. So then I pull into the fucking parking lot that was right there and I park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, like I have a ticket now. And you could have just said, he goes, yeah, I didn't know what to say. So I thought I could just say that it wasn't any of us. And then I get the ticket and I realize, I think I'm just paying a ticket. And they're like, no, you have to, at the time, you had to show up to court.
For possession?
Yeah. So I show up to court, just like I'm working at a restaurant here in LA and I have nothing arranged. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
And I walk up to a guy, he's like a public defender. I'm like, will you like represent me? Like right there at court. He's like, you need legal defense? And I was like, I think so. And he goes, how much money do you make? And I was like, not a lot. He's like, well, how much? I'm like, I don't know, like $600 a week. He goes, oh, that's way too much. I'm like, that's too much money to make? He's like, for me, yeah. I'm like, so then I go into court and I'm like alone and he still stands up for me. He's like, Your Honor, this man, I spoke to him. I'm not representing him, but I can help him a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like reading the charges and she's like, how do you plead? I just look at him and I'm like, I don't know. He's like, I was like, guilty. And she's like, all right, use this, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, you can have it expunged in a year if you follow this protocol. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, you can leave now. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I just like, I paid $270.
And the protocol was mowing that cop's yard.
I mowed it. She was like, you have to go clean the hedges. And I was like, you got it.
Yeah, when I went to court on that, leaving this thing to property damage, my buddy who was living in this house that I was living in, I lived in a house with like 12 other people.
Oh, shit.
No, it wasn't that many. I don't know how many it was. It was changing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And his girlfriend had a cousin. I got a lawyer who was going to help me out. And, you know, he said it was my first offense. It was a real thing, that leaving the property damage. But it wasn't a DUI, but the cop had to testify. He was there and everything else. And somehow the lawyer brought up that I was a stand-up comic and I was coming home late and it was a blah. And, you know, all this thing, he got me off. You know, they dismissed it. And then afterwards, the cop comes up and says, no, you're a comic. Yeah, if I come to your show, you're going to bust my balls. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. No, dude, just let me know if you want to. The fuck it? No,
of course not. You got any funny stuff? You got any jokes?
Yeah, well, that's the worst because you know the kind of comic I am. It's difficult for most people. So, like,
tell me a joke to you is not the thing to say.
Not can you sit down?
Yeah,
you have to work it out in front of you.
How much time do you have for your joke?
Sometimes it takes me a while to get there. You know,
my dad took me to a lunch. He goes, "I want you to go to lunch with my friend today." This was like a couple of years. I was like, okay. And I go, the guy was in his 80s, okay, which is fine. But so the guy goes, like, immediately we sit down. He's like, I got one for you. Like, immediately I go, what? He's like, so a guy walks into a bar, right? And he starts telling me these like street jokes. And I'm like giving like polite, that's a much older man. And he goes, now you go. And I go, what? And he goes, tell me some of yours. And I go, oh, I don't have jokes like that. He goes, what the hell do you do up there? your dad said you're a comedian. And I was like, they're longer. And he's like, okay, tell me one. I go, it's not going to work, man. And he was like, what the fuck?
Did you do it though?
No. The only time I ever did that was with the worst experience of my life was I did a call-in one time to radio. I remember in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I had a show coming up. And the guy's like, oh, you're going to be at the club. And blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, let's hear something. And I go, nah. Yeah, he's like, just give me one. And I go, nah. He's like, go ahead. Give it to us. Give us a little taste. And I was like, okay. And I just started doing like a bit. Like I just went into a bit.
Yeah.
And it ended and he was like, okay. And I was sitting there in my hotel room like this. Like I want to die. And then I hung up. And then people started to message me. They're like, you're getting ripped apart by this radio guy right now. Like as being an absolute piece of shit comedian.
And look,
I was like, he knew what he was doing.
We spent our lives hating these regional radio douchebags.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe we're all radio guys now.
We are. We're all radio guys.
I never thought about it like that until Kevin Christie pointed it out to me. It's like I guess everyone's just doing drive time radio now. I'm like, oh fuck.
The only difference is we're drive time radio. We're radio guys with no boss. That's the big difference.
No, of course, and it is a big difference, and you can listen to it whenever you want. It's just,
we are.
I just tell you, I haven't told you this story, but I've told this story before, but people don't really realize it. And I have respect for radio guys. I used to like once you got the hang of being on the road and doing morning radio, like understanding, like because you can sell fucking tickets, if you nail that radio gig.
And it makes a big difference whether that guy's like giving
or a dick.
Yes,
like if you're going to get into a cockfight, like they're threatened because they're the funny guy, or they used to do comedy, but they had too many kids and they had to do this now, or if you walk in there and the sidekick is like a guy you knew who used to do comedy, like hey, didn't you like? This is going to be a problem, or else it's not. But there's some great crews, and I used to look forward to sometimes doing it. And once I hosted radio myself, you start to realize the pressure, what's going on there.
Totally.
Like when I did morning radio for Air America, which was fundamentally a comedy show, it's like you'd have guests, and you'd be sitting there going like, we got a lot of momentum going here. We've been up since 6. And we're fucking jacked, and this thing is happening. We're getting people to work. We're making people feel better. Are you going to come in here and shit the fucking bed, stupid?
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Right.
And so, like, you start to realize when you go do those radio shows, they're just sort of like, ugh, what's he going to do? And they never have good stories about comics because a lot of comics, they're like, they roll out of bed, they feel like they have to do it, and they just get there and they don't give nothing.
Yeah.
So they've got a beef already.
Guilty. Yeah. They used to hate me. All of them.
I just like if they're going and I can just jump on, I'll do it. I'll do it.
I ride your wave though, man. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If I come in and there's any type of like standoffishness from you, you're gonna get nothing from me. Enchanté. Yeah, it came out pretty easy, didn't it? Thanks, Babbel. This summer, get the most out of your travels abroad by learning the language of your destination with Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. From ordering in restaurants or asking for directions to getting a deeper understanding of the culture, Babbel makes the whole process of learning a new language addictively fun and easy. With bite-sized lessons you can actually use in the real world, Babbel is a can't-miss travel essential. Don't you want to pick up another language? Wouldn't that be fun to use? I think I'm going to go with Italian next because I'm gifted. But Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Unlike the infamous language classes you took in high school, Babbel designs their courses with practical, real-world conversations in mind. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com, use the promo code BEARS. That's BABBEL.com, code BEARS for an extra 3 months free. Whether it's for work or play, a lot of us are going to be on the move again this summer. So my advice is take your Ray-Cons with you. It doesn't matter if you're listening to a podcast like Two Bears, One Cave, or Your Mom's House, or Dom Segura en Español, whatever you enjoy listening to, throw those in. Maybe you want to listen to music like the lounge music that our staff is always listening to from hotels. Get a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears, and it makes all the difference. You get crisp, powerful beats at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycons look great. They feel even better. They come in a range of cool colors with customizable gel tips included for a comfortable in-ear fit, and Raycons are built to go wherever you go. Listen up. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/bears. There you'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order. It's such a good deal, you'll want to grab a pair and a spare. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/bears. Buyraycon.com/bears.
And the egos of some of those guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's the story. Like I tell, because I've done radio. I know what it means. I know what you're working towards. You're working towards breaks.
Yeah.
And you want to hold people over the break.
Yeah.
Right. And then you come back in and you're like, we're here with Tom Segura. You reset.
Yeah.
But I was doing Bob and Tom. In wherever was it? Indianapolis, right? And I don't mind. I didn't mind those guys.
Yeah.
He's difficult. Tom was. Bob was great, but Bob's gone. I don't even know what's over there. I think it's just Tom and Chick and whatever's. I don't know what's going on. But I just remember when podcasting started. It was the beginning of podcasting, and Tom sees himself. All these guys think they're the best interviewers.
Yeah,
these fucking guys. I'm pretty good at. I can. Whatever.
Hold on. Bill Clinton's on the line.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah. And then they got the guy doing the voice. Oh, hey, Tom. So Tom's like, he's starting in on it. And he knows I'm a podcaster. We're just starting out. There's like 9 podcasts. He's like, he just looks at me and goes, what the problem is with these podcasters? And I'm like, what? And he goes, they don't know how to reset. And I'm like, there's no reason to reset.
Yeah.
They tuned in for the show. It's not... We're not coming back from a break, stupid. It's just like, but that was this big, thing. That was like, these guys don't got the chops.
The
on the resetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because like they said, I'm going to listen to Marc Maron show, and there's no breaks. It's just continuous.
They're not like,
I'm choosing it. It's not live.
This is on demand.
Yeah. They don't know how to reset these kids.
Yeah, all the radio guys were like that for a minute. I mean, Howard was famously like he's like, you have more listeners like screaming out of your window. If I think it was just like new. It felt like it was maybe to some of them like a threat or some version of that.
I never listened to I never really listened much to talk radio. Like I'm not a big radio guy. Even when I started doing it, I hadn't listened. I can't say that I've listened to a whole Howard ever. Maybe. I'd listen to I'd just turn on talk radio like news and shit like that and music, but like you start to realize like the desperation. You never know what you're gonna walk into
with radio.
Never. It's like I was in Cleveland and like I barely remember the story. You're up. They woke you up. The guy, some lackey from the club is driving you. Do you remember doing like the comment? What was the Broad Ripple in Indianapolis?
Oh yeah.
And her father would take you.
Yes.
Remember the little
yeah.
And you'd get there and there'd be like full meals there, like crock pots full.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they do that's where they do. They're like, what are the bits you're going to do?
That was Bob and Tom. Yeah. And that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Lead me in. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
But I remember getting out, driving to a show in Cleveland and just getting off the elevator and there's chaos. Some guy runs by without a shirt and I'm like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It's just clearly there's something wrong. And then some some intern or something runs up to me. It's like, we got to change studios, man. Something went wrong with the puke cannon. It's like 6:30.
Yeah.
What happened?
Puke cannon backfired, man.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
On radio, the puke cannon backfired.
My favorite.
These idiots had rigged up a a leaf blower,
and
to do something. You have a guy drink milk, and there was a funnel involved. I'm like, wow, how is this a radio bit?
I know the best with that was when I was in Hartford.
Yeah.
I was doing this piece of shit radio show in a piece of shit building, and they're just like, oh, I remember like they had like the fucking oldest board, looked like the first year a board came out, and these rickety mics, and they're like, oh, sit over here, like to wait, and they just had me sit like there.
Yeah,
and I was like, is this the waiting room?
Yeah, and
then they're like, all right, we're gonna come out of this break and then just take over. And I go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, just do like, it's your time to shine. And I go, what are you going to ask? And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, just do whatever you want to do. And I was like, I don't really want to do anything. And he goes, Well, no, man, we have like 30 seconds. And I go, okay, but I mean, when you say take over, you mean like I run the segment? He's like, if you want to.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, last week Bobby Lee was here. He got naked. And I go, how'd that work on radio? And he's like, what? I go, did it play to the people listening in their cars? And he was like, look, man, just what do you want to do? And I was like, just ask me some questions, man. He was so nervous. And he was like, oh my God. And he pulled up my bio.
Yeah.
And I had a fake bio, like as a joke.
Oh.
He's like, so you were in the NFL? And I was like, yeah, man. Like 6 seasons. And he was like,
didn't know.
He didn't know. He
just
went.
kept going.
So I was like, I don't know. I hated so little interest in you because some of the times they would just do like a little bit of research.
Or they'd have the open wiki page.
Yeah. You were born in Cincinnati?
Yeah,
How'd you get
New
that?
Jersey.
Like,
I'm born in New Jersey.
Yeah. How was that? You're like, it was good. I was 8 when we left.
Yeah, 6 when we left.
Yeah. But if they did like a little bit, like if they were just like, I don't know, just a little bit, all of a sudden you go like, oh, and then you want to give more.
Well, I just like it when they're like, you walk in and they're like, we were just talking about this. And I'm like,
yes,
great.
I'll
talk about that.
Yeah. There's some good, I mean, I always like doing Preston and Steve.
Yeah, great. Those guys. Yeah, those guys are great.
There's an Orlando show that I was like, oh, it's Orlando. I said, no, it was a great morning show. I forget the name of the show.
Preston and Steve are good. Matt and Heidi are good here. They're fun to do. And there's like, John DeBella, is that his name? He's also in Philly, the old dude with the big curly mustache.
Yes, that's right.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Been around for a long time. It's a very kind of nice interview.
Yeah, he wants, that's the thing is those like 3 shows want it.
Well, those guys are that generation that got crushed by Howard and are still in the game.
Yeah.
It's,
No, there's some good ones.
We used to do, when I moved to San Francisco, Alex Bennett had like sort of defined the comedy scene in San Francisco by having comics on the morning show constantly. And he was sort of one of those guys that Stern pushed out. Like one of the guys like, I invented it. And Howard just ran with it. Like, all right. But by the time we got there, by the time I got to San Francisco, it was like, I don't know. He was kind of, that whole thing had kind of waned. He had this live in-studio audience, and at this point, it was just, a guy in a Star Trek outfit, and some dude who brought dope, brought weed. And there was like, it was kind of like this tragic thing. And he'd have 3 comics in there. And in my recollection, all you would do is just sit there and listen to Alex complain about his stomach. Like, has anyone I feel a little fluey. Anyone else feel fluey? Like, it's hot in here. Like, it just went on for fucking ever.
Just complaining.
Yeah, but I remember, like, you just sit there and you tried to riff and you think it was important because you had other good comics there. But one time I went after Craig Shoemaker. Like, I was just talking about this to somebody the other night. And I don't know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that guy was still mad at me for this.
Was he in the?
Yeah, he was. Well, he was a touring guy. He wasn't one of the local comics. But at that time, San Francisco, before everyone left, there was a lot of us there.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to San Francisco around the same month that Patton did and Blaine Capatch, and then there was the scene that was still there. A lot of people had left.
And you went there before LA, right?
Well, I went after college. I went to LA, became a doorman at the store, and then got fucked up on drugs, and went back to Boston, started my career in Boston, started working in 88 professionally, and then I moved to New York, 89, 92, I moved to San Francisco.
Damn.
And then I went back to New York in 95, and then, I ended up back out here in 2000. Yeah.
That's a lot of like
chasing the dream.
Yeah. You're chasing it in like all the good cities though.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of them had something to offer. But with Alex, like, I used to get so fucking it would play on my nerves, and like, and Shoemaker was like just represented, he was like there was a sort of element of the king of hackdom to a certain degree, there was, and I'm not trying to start shit with Craig, but how could this not? Yeah, he did. But I got nothing against the guy. Maybe at that time,
I'm sure he'll take it as well.
Maybe at that time, I was a little more, aggravated about look, if you can survive in this business, God bless.
Yeah.
But so he's like, every time a real guest would come in, he treated the 3 comics that were sitting there like fucking children. Mm-hmm. And he'd be like, all right, so I'm just going to handle the interview again, because I'm the best interviewer. So we had to sit there.
Alex would do.
Yeah. So we had to sit there like kids.
Yeah.
While he talked to the actor, the musician, whoever.
Yeah.
And it was Shoemaker, and it kind of bothered me because like, he's just a comic.
Right.
So he's the real guest. He's the real guy.
Right. Yeah.
And they're having this really. I was such a fucking cunt. They're having this like real conversation about divorce, and stuff. And, it's kind of like, Alex is talking about it, and Craig had just been divorced, and it's really kind of like, it's kind of getting deep. And I just start going like, what happened, love master? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, James.
And
I gotta say, couldn't hold on to your woman, love master. And it's like, Bennett's just looking at me like, would you shut up? What do you, I'm like, oh my God.
And how did Craig take it? Did he start taking it?
Well, he just he just was kind of taken aback, and like they both be acting like,
are you mocking my pain and my act?
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, this was sort of like, why is the child talking?
Yeah.
And then I don't remember how it ended. It was too early to remember anything. I did morning radio for a year and a half. I don't know how I did it. I don't know what happened. I don't remember who I talked to. You're still asleep.
Totally.
I used to get up and I would drink like a gallon of fucking Dunkin' Donuts coffee and eat M&Ms throughout the morning from 6 to 9. Just jam.
How long were you doing this for?
I did for like a year and a half.
Wow.
Oh, it's quite a life, man. Because we had to do news and shit. Like I was driving the show, and then my partner Mark Riley, he was like the news guy, and it was like lefty talk radio.
Yeah.
But like we were fundamentally, a comedy show. We were doing bits all the time, writing bits. But I'd get up at like 3 in the fucking morning.
No,
every
dude.
day, dude. Every day. And I try to do. You walk around feeling like you were just in a really long pillow fight, and just kind of like,
It fucks with your head.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you have to like be in bed by 8:30, and if 9:30 happens, you're like, oh fuck, I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, I had post-production job here in LA for a while. Right.
Yeah.
At one point, I was on the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
It completely ruins your life.
Yeah.
I'd show up to work at 7 p.m. and we'd be done at 7 a.m.
Oh no.
And like I had a cool boss who every once in a while, like I wouldn't do it every week, but I would be like, hey, like this week on these days, can I go do spots?
Yeah.
And he would let it go. Or every once in a while I would ask for like a day off. But most of the time, you're just like, I remember your body like never really adjusts to being awake.
No, you always feel nauseous.
Yes,
and fucked
feel
up,
sick.
And then you've got to like, I got into the mindset where it's like, if I can get 8 in, even if it's in separate chunks,
Yeah.
I'm good. So like I'd finish the show, I'd go home, and then I'd sleep from like, noon to 3, and I'm like, okay, that's 3.
Yeah.
You
right.
know, and then
picking
like,
up your hours.
Right. And then like on weekends, I'd want to do spots, but you're still out of it. You can never readjust.
You can't adjust.
So I would just try to get these packages of sleep in.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You don't have a life. You can't have a life.
It was impossible to.
Yeah, because you feel like you have the flu all the time.
You do. If like friendships, relationships, they just nothing really evolves. I remember at first you're always panicked, to like when the job starts, don't fuck this up and don't get in trouble. Once I got comfortable, I would find like an empty edit bay, and I'd be like, I'm gonna go crash in here. And I remember like editors I was cool with who would be coming. They were like, down the hall we can hear you snoring, like in this edit bay. I was like, really? And they're like, it's wild, man.
Towards the end of my reign on morning radio, when we knew the jig was up, my partner just stopped giving a fuck.
Really?
Yeah, he would literally fall asleep while I was talking to him.
Dude.
Like I'd be like, hey, what do you think, Mark? Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. It was ridiculous.
You don't give a fuck at all.
Zero. Fucking sleeping on the air. He went right there on the mic.
Oh my God, man.
That was the worst. But I remember getting up. Like I used to there was a certain heroic element to it. I used to be like a short order guy at a restaurant, and when I was in college and after college, when I started doing comedy, I usually work in restaurants, but like I'd have to open the place, make pancakes, get the batter going, get the grill up, do the eggs, do the sandwiches. And like, there was something about like fucking partying till like, 3 or 4 in the morning, and then being able to show up at 6 to open the restaurant and still have like a little bit of blow. See, that was that's where you learned how to do blow. See, that's where you learned like the best part about blow was if you could fucking find it in your fucking heart to set aside a little for the morning. Then you're a real pro, man.
Yeah.
Because like I have you to work at 6. I'm just going to keep these 2 bumps.
Yeah.
Then there's usually a manager at the place that can get blows. So, you do your morning bumps, you get the batter going, you have the lines coming in, you got the dupes coming up, and you're like, dude, you got, so then you're jammed by the time you get off
What
work.
would morning blow feel like though? Would it?
Oh, it's so great.
It was
so. It's like you never smoked cigarettes either.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, so you remember the first cup of coffee and the first cigarette of the day?
Yeah.
How good that was?
Yeah.
It's like twice as good as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I might have to get my mom on some blow because she loves that too.
Oh God, the first cigarette and coffee, like that could last 2 hours. The great thing about being a comic, especially when you had jobs that would just enable you to do that, it's like you could get up and do coffee and cigarettes for 2 hours.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. To the point where you needed a nap. You know, like
I stopped.
I came out the other side.
Cigarettes because of how much I was making it a part of being a comic.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I realized that I was just getting deeper. Like I used to be like the kind of person to be like, yeah, give me a cigarette.
When we could smoke on stage, you mean?
Well, I did it on stage a few times, but I mean that. So I wasn't a smoker. Then I start smoking after I'd started doing stand-up. And then I was like, oh, this is fun to do before a set, after a set, thinking about sets, writing. And I just became like, I was getting into smoking too much where I was like, oh yeah, you know, I was loving it. And I was like, I'm just going to get terrible with this. Yeah. So I cut it out. You know? But I did it for 5 years. 5? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I just mean I started at I shouldn't have ever
what
started.
What a fucking hero. I started at 14, could not get off the shit for most of my life.
Are you over it now?
Yeah, I mean, barely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't smoke, but nicotine was a motherfucker. I mean, I smoked, like, I think I had my last cigarette probably in 99.
Jesus.
But then I was like 35 is when I got sober. But then I was like, I would do the nicotine gum, and then I was doing nicotine lozenges up until 2 years ago. Okay. Like I would smoke cigars, like all these idiots who smoke cigars, like, you know, sit around in the cigar circle and try to figure out who the alpha is.
Yeah, I smoke cigars.
I got no problem with it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's
but
fun.
my problem is like just in the same way that you apparently can have a cocktail occasionally.
Yeah.
I'll have one cigar and then then I'll have another one, you know, in a few days later. But you know, give me a month and I'm smoking 2 or 3 a day. Yeah, and I'm fucked. Yeah, I'm fucked. I'm just sitting on my porch sweating. Yeah, and then I got to get back on the nicotine lozenges to get off the cigars. So, and then oh fuck it. It'll be 2 years in August with no nicotine at all. So wow. But I'm 57.
Okay. So you did it a little longer than me. Do you know what a dipshit I felt like starting cigarettes though? Because
at what age?
25.
Stupid.
Everybody who I knew that smoked, they're like, yeah, I started as a teenager. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of made it past that, but I want to get started now. I want to get started now. It's
a roll of the dice. You're lucky you don't have the bug, man, because it's like, I don't know, like with anything, like I don't have anything right now but the coffee, and there's always this part of my being that is sort of like, you know, I gotta, there's this like weird itch for relief. Yes. You know, and you know, with coffee works for the most part, but like I've been on this fucking sugar detox for like 2.5 weeks.
Sugar's a motherfucker, man.
But I got off it and I feel pretty good, and I know that I'm getting drawn. That's the fucked up thing. I like losing weight, but when you get my age, if you cross a certain line, you look 100.
Yeah. Right. It's true.
And you feel great. You're like, man, I'm in the best shape ever.
People are like, but you're old as fuck.
Are you okay? Do you have cancer?
No, it's terrible. I know. As soon as you lose, like, it's over a line where you start to see like bones.
Right. You want to keep your face plump.
Yeah.
You're good with that.
Thanks. It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
But
to keep it fat.
Yeah, man. I'm one of those guys. I just keep eating and nothing happens.
Shit.
No, it's crazy. You know you've been fat when like I'm down like 30 some pounds right now.
You look
from
better
December.
than I've seen you. Yeah.
And people are like, "Have you lost weight?" I'm like, "It's a pretty significant amount." they're like, "Oh."
I fucking like. My mother is like a professional eating disorder. Like her life is managing an eating disorder.
Right.
And she's very proud of it. Like, you know, like she's weighed 116 pounds her entire life, and she maintains it, you know, exercise and eating like weird shit. It was so beautiful though, because she made me crazy. Yeah. You know, about weight.
Food and weight.
For my whole life. Yeah. You know, like, where are the husky pants for my fat son? So, yeah. But now, like, during the pandemic, she put on like 15, 20 pounds. So I went down to visit her in Florida, and she like, you can't say anything anymore. No. Look at you, fatty. You know. Like, but that's not true. She looked great. She looked the best she had.
Did you give her shit about it?
I did not. But she did. Like, I could tell it was wearing on her because it's her whole life. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know if I can take it off. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I just, I wasn't gonna. I'm not gonna hit her when she's down. She has it coming, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna let it be. But the point being, like, when I started losing weight, I get into it. Like before, when I was going into the third season of Glow, I wanted to make sure I was kind of lean because, you're going to sit around and eat all the time on set. That's all you fucking do.
Right.
Craft services, whatever. Oh, there's a cake. It's like, what? Dessert at every meal. And I don't know what is it with gaffers and crew people? They can just eat cake and ice cream with every fucking meal?
Every meal.
What is that?
I don't know.
And you're thinking like, why can't I do that? Because you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what their life is or what their metabolism is. They have real jobs.
Yeah,
they burn it off.
They're fucking picking shit up all day.
Yeah, they're not just sitting in a chair with their name on it, waiting to say three things in an outfit that isn't theirs.
Yeah.
So
True.
But I started losing weight. And then I just couldn't stop, right? So, and I think I look great.
Yeah.
And by the time, I'm doing Glow, I'm like, this is great. The pants are fitting. I got a little leeway to eat. And I look at that season, I look like I had cancer.
Really?
Well, oh, yeah. Look at season 3 of Glow. You can see my fingers are bony. And no one said nothing.
No, they don't.
No, it's like someone should have said, dude, they had to start writing around the fact that I'd lost that much weight.
The fucked up thing about weight, whether you're up or down and what, you are the one that goes, God, I was skinny. And then everyone will be like, yeah, man, we were going to say something. You're like, well, then fucking say it.
Yeah, it's the same with dating crazy people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like that chick was fucking nuts.
We all knew that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we know.
And I'm your best friend, and I thought that, but I just didn't think to say it.
Yeah. Sorry that you had to get a restraining order.
Sorry, you're a fucking. The car got broken.
Yeah.
Too.
So the whole house is burnt, or just part of it.
Yeah, but we're still friends, man. I still care about
I just didn't want to, interfere. You don't want to. It's like it's your shit. We don't want to get involved. It's not cool.
Now I want to say shit all the time, though. I feel like the older I get, the more I have less reservations about it.
But the problem is you don't always know. You get a sense.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows what people are like? And what's really going on there. And
you don't really know.
You don't, and you assume your things are okay.
Yeah.
Until they're fucking not.
Mm-hmm. This episode is also brought to you by Vuori. Vuori has a new perspective on performance apparel. It's perfect if you're sick and tired of traditional old workout gear, and it's true. They've sent me the stuff. It looks good. It feels so comfortable. It's the kind of thing you can wear out to lunch, to a meeting, and then go straight to the gym, and it works for all of it. Everything is designed to work out in, but doesn't feel or look like it. It's super comfortable, incredibly versatile product. It can be used for just about anything you want to do. Designed to look great, feel great, perfect for any workout. Super easy to find. A bunch of new products being released all the time that I could not tell you how comfortable this stuff is. Vuori is an investment in your happiness, and for our listeners, they're offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/bears. That's VUORI.com/bears. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/bears and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing. This episode is brought to you by our partner, Whoop. We all want to make healthier decisions. We want to sleep better, eat better, live healthier lives. And guess what? You need a little help. You need a little insight into what's going on with your body. And there's no better insight that can be provided to you than if you have yourself a Whoop. This fitness track device you wear around your wrist tells you everything that's going on. It's incredible. It has a personalized strain coach that tells you when it's time to get moving, when you're recovered. It has a sleep coach which tells you, hey, it's time to go to sleep. And believe me, your body needs it. You get all this great insight for less than $30 a month. For our listeners, if you've been thinking about giving Whoop a shot, there's no better time than today. You can save 15% off of Whoop with the code BEARS. Go to Whoop, WHOOP.com. Use the code BEARS at checkout to save yourself 15% off today. Know yourself with personalized recovery, strain, and sleep insights from Whoop.
Oh my God. I did my voice is like a little played because yesterday I'm doing a cartoon movie, you know, and we're at the end of it and they'd saved what they call the efforts for the last day. So that I had to go record yesterday, all the efforts. It's 3 pages of grunts and screams.
Oh.
So you just sit there like, ugh, ah, like, yeah, can we get 3 of those?
Great work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A whole day of that. It was a kind of entire.
You're doing like so many acting jobs now. You're always on something.
It's kind of fun to challenge. Like I'm getting off on it. You know what I mean?
You enjoy it?
Well, I didn't understand what it was that was, because I kept getting cast as some kind of half a version of me, you know. So I never really like, and I talked to a lot of actors on the podcast, and I was like, how do you appreciate this? Because shooting TV or movies is long. It's a lot of waiting. It's hard not to get impatient, but that's part of the job. You start to realize, like, big actors, a lot of them, they just got into it sort of like, I can just hang out.
Yeah.
Like, why do you like doing this? Like, I get a nice trailer, just hang out in there, and read and do what I want. It's like, that's your life.
We shoot for a little while.
Yeah, right. It's like, I can't sit in a fucking trailer. I go nuts.
Yeah.
But now, like, I took a role that, it was one of these things where this director kept bothering me. It was fucking peak COVID. I'm in a massive amount of grief, because I lost somebody.
Yeah.
And, and this guy won't leave me alone. He's like, I want you to do this movie. I'm like, why me? He's like, well, I just think you'd be perfect for this part. And I'm like, well, what is it? It's like, it's this guy, he's Texan. I'm like, wait, what? So he keeps bothering me. And I'm like, okay. And I talked to my management, and somehow they all convinced me that doing a movie in the middle of COVID would be safer than going to Ralph's. Right?
Yeah.
And it made sense to me. And it might even be true because there were protocols and everything else. But the point is that, like, this role, I was nervous because this guy is not like me. He's not neurotic. He's not a Jew. He's not, angry, and he's like Texan, and he's kind of a heartbroken character, but it's a big part. And I say, okay, I'll do it. And I say to the guy, like, but I don't know about the accent, man. I don't know about the accent. And then, like, I talked to James Caan, this is the weird thing about doing what I do, and about how he approaches things. And if you start to watch, like, the real movie stars do parts where they do an accent, they never hold it. It's always in and out.
Yeah.
And you don't really get too fucked up about it because, if they're showing up for the part, it's fine,
Yeah.
So I implanted that rationalization in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just do my best, and if I fall out of it, fuck it. Who cares? Is that what the review's going to be? No, bad accent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Boston.
Right.
Which is, you never do that. Never take a show where you got like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
So I meet with I do the dialogue coach thing, and I get, and it was so funny because it was basically a Lubbock accent. And as a point of reference, she said, she gave me some links to Mac Davis interviews. Mac Davis, the singer.
Is he from Lubbock?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a very subtle kind of trip. And you get these key words where you kind of, how they say certain things. Yeah. And I just said, fuck it, man. If I'm going to be an actor, this is part of the application of the skill.
Right.
And I fucking did it. And I have no idea how it came out. The director's like, it's great. And I'm like, well, what do you know?
You guys always say that.
Yeah. Like, what's it going to be? Is this going to be like, I don't know, man. But that was more.
Your whelp down?
That was more of a Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
The trick is how to get the sounds and then not make it a caricature. So you got to make it your voice. And figure out the words where, I don't know, I have to see the words. I can't just drop back into it. But I did the work, and hopefully it shows
That's
up.
awesome. I've been working on my text and whelp since I live there now. So here it is. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Well,
that's nice.
Yeah.
I like it because you kind of suck it in.
Yeah.
There's not there's a passive aggression to it.
There is.
We've all taken the hit here.
Yeah.
So, I've been making fun of you guys
for moving there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been fun, man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I also feel like my lifestyle is amazing.
Well, I think you're different. I think that, you're your own guy. You're your own life. You weren't one of the guys that, rented out space in Joe's ass. And, you. Yeah. It's just like, there's like a human centipede in Austin. It's like Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and 3 middle acts, So. But you seem to do your own thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we have our own,
See, people are going to see that and go, like, look at Maron, he's bitter. It's like, why wouldn't I be? Why? $100 million for going, I don't know. Really?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hey, Rogan's pushing back. I don't know, man. So, look, God bless.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and accept Austin as the next Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Because people always forget to finish the sentence, Hey, man, I'm moving to Austin. Texas? Yes.
Yeah. It's still Texas.
Oh, it's really Texas.
It's really Texas.
It's like the hipster Alamo. It's this little enclave.
It does feel like you're totally in a different universe. Like, obviously, it's the most time I've ever spent there. Usually you come in, you do a weekend of shows or something, you know? But it is not like any other Texas experience, you know?
No, I've always liked it. I've spent time there, you know, but you know, let's be honest, it's 4 stores, a lot of meat, and a lot of musicians who are, you know, failed elsewhere. So like
things didn't pan out in Nashville.
That's right. I'm back.
Yeah.
You guys still want to play?
The funny thing was when we actually, you know, made the decision to move, and everything honestly is always predicated when you're married with kids. It's like your wife has to be on board with this thing.
Sure.
And when she was like, no, when she was on board, I never thought she would leave LA ever.
Yeah.
And so when she's like, no, I'm very excited about it, and like being the driving force, I was like, all right, let's go. And
but also like, you know, there is like a tax benefit to, you know,
there's a tax benefit.
limit.
There's a definitely like as like real road dogs, you know, we basically tour all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's very exciting to have that year-round touring from the center of the country, basically. That part's really exciting to me.
Yeah.
But I also had this thing where I go, you know, if we don't like it, there's no rules that say you can't move. Like, we'll move back to LA. And then she was like, oh, we're not moving back. And I was like, okay.
Good. Decided.
Really?
Yeah.
And she was like, definitely not.
Yeah.
She was like,
she wasn't happy here, or she just don't want to move again?
She definitely doesn't want to move again. And she also really wants our boys to feel like centered and grounded and in one place. So she's like, they're starting school, because my oldest starts kindergarten.
Right.
She goes, I am not fucking moving him in 3rd grade.
Right. Well, she grew up in some insanity.
Yeah, she grew up in some insanity.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, you want stability. And look, I get it. Like, I grew up in New Mexico. I get Texas. And I'm not even saying it's not a great place in some ways, but it's just sort of like there was this momentum of sort of like, it's all moving. I tweeted the other day, I'm like, I heard that all comedy audiences are moving to Austin.
I hope that we have, like, everybody's talking, like, so Creek in the Cave is open there, which has been great. The Vulcan gas, whatever it's called, we've done shows there, but the clubs still have to open. So like Cap City shut down, so that
that's gone though, right?
Well, someone's gonna reopen it.
Is Grossman gonna reopen it?
He's opening Helium separately.
Holy shit! But it's just what
I know. And there's another club that's gonna open too.
What about Rogan's? What about Rogan World, where you have the club, the supplement counter, and the training camp?
The supplement counter is still open. No, he was going to open a place that place didn't pan out, but he's still looking at other spots.
I just thought it was an amazing amount of movement just so Joe could have his own booth.
Yeah. he brought people with him.
I know.
Store people went there. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Look. That was the only thing that was starting to drive me nuts. It's not like, you know, I really have nothing against any of them, anybody, but it was just this establishment, the idea that like, no, show business is moving to Austin. It's not.
No.
You know, and it was like such kind of crazy pandemic thinking. Like, let's go.
It was. I mean, that's part of it is definitely pandemic fueled.
Yeah.
And I think people get excited, like we even did too, about the fact that you know, significant companies are going. It just means that like a city is growing, you know.
That must be the bane of Austinites' existence.
Of course it is.
You know, I mean, Whole Foods was always there.
I know, but now Oracle's moving there.
I know. It's like it's going to be the kind of the tech raping of a sweet town.
Oh yeah, it's gonna ruin things that people love. Totally. Of course. Yeah. But like I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I really did like. But you start to realize as you get older that you know, every place really becomes a small town because you eventually figure out what rounds you make.
Exactly.
And no matter how big the city is, like I lived in New York for years, but I lived in a New York of, you know, 4 blocks and a few separate places, and that's that.
And that's what I did here for 19 years.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been wherever the fuck we are right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to thank you for taking me out here.
I'll tell you something. I regret fucking getting this place.
I'm like, I was driving out here. I'm like, why? Wait, what is this?
I'll tell you why. Wait. I'll tell you why we picked this.
It's not
place.
even a strip mall. I don't even know what this is.
This is it's sad and it's dangerous.
Would you call it an office park?
Yeah, business park. Yeah. I think here's what happened. We used to live. So this is one of the reasons she's sick of moving. We used to live 15 minutes from here.
I remember the place with the studio.
The place where you went. The place you went. Okay, this is 15 minutes from that.
Yeah.
So that's a very easy commute,
right?
And you're like, you know, this is whatever.
And now it's like you have to commute from Texas longer.
That's a little bit longer. But then we moved in LA over the hill. So this became like a 30, 40 minute commute. And then now we have to get on flights.
Yeah.
But
but this is where your guest base is. Is that the deal? And Bert's here. You can't get Bert to Texas?
Oh, he's not going to move there.
Yeah.
Because his girls are in high school, but he's going to fly out a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do this.
To do this, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
we'll just we'll do like 4 at a time, over a couple of days.
Yeah, like a strip show. Yeah,
Yeah.
do a month's worth.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with this week. This
Yeah.
week I've been here every day doing multiple podcasts every day.
Yeah, I get it, and and you got to sustain it. I guess is there anybody in Texas that you talk to?
That I talk to?
Do you have a studio set up there?
Yeah. That's the reason that we're even coming back right now is because that studio's not done being built.
Oh.
That's the only reason.
Now, are people flying in to do shit
People are flying in to do shows, yeah.
in Texas? But your show. I'm saying
Well, we haven't set it up yet, but yeah, the offers will be there that like we'll fly you up, we'll put you out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're running that big an operation?
Yeah.
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 Negotiating with agents. Can't do first,
Yeah.
but we can do business select.
Yeah, exactly.
On Southwest.
Sure. Yeah, no, it really depends on who we're flying out.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the back of the bus. Get the fuck out of here. But like if it was you,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey man,
Yeah.
2D work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Have some brisket.
Oh, dude, the food really is unbelievable.
Yeah, but again, I mean, of a certain type of food that you can eat maybe once or twice a month without
As a
dying.
skinny guy, I'm on board with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you got I usually go out to Opie's. That's where I go.
Haven't been there.
Like I know a lot of people, everyone's got their barbecue place, but there was a period there. Like I have a relationship with Austin. I used to go there a lot, and I went out to that place where the town where I always forget where the 3 or 4 barbecue places are. Was it Lockhart?
Lockhart?
Yeah, drive out to Lockhart. That's where Blacks and Mueller's and Kreutz's. There's a few out there, and then there's another one sort of out in the boonies. And then you got Franklin's in town and Cooper's, and then
La
there's Salt
Barbecue is
Lake.
one that I just got into. It's amazing.
Don't know anything about La Barbecue, but like years ago, a food critic who I met at South by Southwest, who was, I believe, and I'm not saying this to mock them, was obese and in some sort of vehicular. Wheelchair of some kind. I don't know.
It's a cool combo.
Yeah, but Tom would fucking find that hilarious. He's like, start Googling pictures. Food critic, obese, wheelchair. So like, but
Yeah.
but she told me.
It's even better. It's a girl.
She was
Stop it.
So terrible. But she told me to go out to Opie's, which is like the other way.
Okay.
It's out where Willie, I think, lives, but it's in Spicewood.
Okay.
And the great thing about it is you got to drive. You got to drive 30 minutes. To this barbecue place. And when you show up at this place, it's like a hanger, and it just says Opie's on it. And you're like, wow, it's like you've arrived at this thing. And you walk in and they've got like an old smoker that's not hooked up with the stuff in there that they have for the day. So you just open it up. It's like a open casket, and they got the sausage and the chicken and the ribs and the brisket. And you kind of, I'll give you some of that and they'll slice it off from the pound. But they got free beans.
Okay.
Most of the time. And they make these cobblers are amazing. Bluebell ice cream. And if they have they have like a jalapeno corn, tater tot casserole.
This is your spot.
Yeah.
If you're going to Austin, are you planning it? You always go like, I'm going to go open.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I talk about it and they treat me like, a king because like I've never shut up about Opie's. And I know I've given them a tremendous amount of business.
I'll take you to La Barbecue though. I'm telling you, man.
I heard about that. I remember it's not an old place, but it got a good reputation.
It's good.
Yeah. I never went to Franklin's because there's no fucking way I'm going to wait online for meat.
Definitely not doing.
But I know it's great.
Yeah.
I've cooked his recipe for brisket on my Traeger grill, which I got for nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Traeger grills.
I use it.
Hey, Traeger, send me a grill.
Do you have one? You don't have one?
I don't have one, no.
How did they not give you one?
I don't know, Traeger. I have not.
I use it constantly.
I've only heard good things about them, honestly.
The only downside of the smoker grills is that you can't actually grill. Do you understand?
You only smoke.
You have to smoke.
Oh.
And in order to get grill like action, you got to really jam it up. Like I made a ribeye last night. So to do a big old fat ribeye and you want to get it seared, you got to smoke the fucker like at 225 for like an hour, and then you take it off and then crank the grill up to 500 and then throw it back on
just for like
each side for a couple minutes to get the sear. But it's great, but you can't get fire. But you can, because the Traegers are basically like a smoke.
Pellets, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, pellets, but it's a smoke-driven convection oven.
Okay.
But it'll smoke. Like I've done 3 briskets. I'm trying to get the hang of that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Do you do it with the thermometer? Like, you do.
Fuck it. I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like, no, I'll just do it by feel. And I can fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a restaurant guy anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need the thermometer. And then you're like, I think it's done. Not only is it done, it's ruined. Good job. How about using the thermometer next time, stupid?
I undercook meat for a lot of people.
Really?
Well, yeah. And then I learned a good, like, you feel like I don't know, like a total idiot doing it. I feel like if you're inside and you have the cast iron grill, you can reverse sear it. Yeah. Right. So you bake it first, which just feels silly.
Well, that's sort of the same. But it's smoking it.
It's smoking.
You can call it smoking it.
That's right.
But it's still
you're baking it outside.
Yeah,
I don't know
with smoke.
But I mean, the best is like a high heat grill.
I know, man. But you can't get that really at home.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
You want a gas grill? It's not going to do it. Like I have this fancy stove that was in the house that I when I bought it. It's like a Thermidor, and it's got like a griddle element in between the 4 burners. I'm like, I don't need a fucking griddle. Why not one of those big fucking grill things?
Yeah,
that'd be good. But like the places that do that, like the real steakhouses, those grills are really fucking hot. You can't.
I know. You can get a green egg to like. Green over eggs, 6.
Good. If you want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Like, green egg will smoke too, but you've got to put together a skill set. See, the Traeger is for morons.
Hello.
Yeah. It's for us.
Yeah.
Where, you get an app and you can control it from your phone and you can control the temperature. There's no sort of like, you got to watch the vents.
Oh yeah. With that green egg, it's all about air and fire control, and like.
Yeah. To smoke a brisket on a green egg, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's exciting. Like there was some douchebag who, like I got the Traeger, I was having a good time with it, and some idiot fan emails me. It's like the Traeger's not going to really do the smoking that you want, man. Yeah. You can hot rod it by adding this thing, but if you really want to smoke meat, you're going to have to get yourself one of these smokers. I'm like, what the fuck, buzzkill?
Those people are the worst.
Yeah, it's like I'm not opening a restaurant.
Yeah,
I'm just having a nice meal.
There's always that person in.
To his credit, he apologized later. He's like, sorry, man, I got carried away. I lost part of my life to smoking.
I respect the guy that'll do that and then go, my bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because they get all excited. And then they realize like it didn't how much of their life their marriage probably went bad because of yelling about like hickory wood. Yeah. Yeah. I can't get oak. Yeah. This is bullshit, man. I've been out there for 2 hours. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Just a guy out by a smoker alone.
Anytime anyone mentions a smoker, he's like, I got to lay into this guy for a second. No, what can happen?
Yeah. He's not doing it right. Yeah, but it's but I use it. I smoke fish like Jewfish, like which I
What's
was
a
very
Jewfish?
I was very excited.
Can we let him guess what a Jewfish is?
What Jewfish is? What we had a Jew?
Oh yeah.
Oh, one of those. Huh? Yeah. Full on. Yeah, you can guess what Jewfish is. What I'm referring to.
Mackerel.
Yeah, not mackerel. No, mackerel is oddly not one of the Jewfish. The Jewfish I'm talking about, when you go to like Ross and Daughters or a real deli to get smoked fish, you've got your lox, and you've got your whitefish, and you've also got your sablefish and your sturgeon for the high end smoke shit. And there's a way of doing it. Maybe they smoke mackerel too, but usually it's whitefish or lox. But mackerel or sablefish is great. It's just black cod. But in order to make it, like you slice it into sections. I gotta brine it. So I just found a recipe online that seemed to work. So you get the sable fresh, because I go to Fish King in Glendale. It's the best.
Okay.
It's a real fish market. It's 5 minutes from my house. This is why I love where I live. I'm 5 minutes from Fish King, 5 minutes from Whole Foods. I don't even go to Trader Joe's anymore. I got Walgreens right there if I need a thing, some mouthwash, and toothpicks, and then or medicine. You
got everything.
I got everything, and then like 2 miles, 3 miles away is the Americana, and I can if I have to get a suit, I can do it in like
shirt,
a half hour.
sunglasses.
Shirt, tie, sunglasses, all of it.
All of it's there.
It's right there. But I don't feel it at my house. Like I'm sitting on my porch, I'm like, I don't feel the presence of Bloomingdale's.
Yeah.
So it's far enough away to where I don't feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I buy the sable fish, then he cut it up, and then I do it a dry brine, right? So I salt. Is this interesting?
Yeah.
I do a cup of salt, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 1/4 cup of sugar, mix that up, and then just cover that shit with salt and let it sit for 3 hours. Wash it off. Let it sit overnight. In the fridge, it develops this sheen to it that's going to hold the smoke flavor, and then you smoke it for like 2-3 hours.
I love it.
And and then paprika, maybe honey based a little bit.
This episode is also brought to you by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes or less. These are super premium quality ingredients with really easy to follow instructions. You can get the whole family involved. You can get your friends. You can get your date. You can make it a whole fun outing, and then you have a beautiful, delicious, healthy meal to enjoy with people you want to enjoy it with. Go to HelloFresh.com/cave14 and use code CAVE14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/cave14. Use the code CAVE14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Guys, you know how I feel about my Starbucks. It's near and dear to my heart, and I drink it all the time. You need to get yourself the Starbucks Tripleshot Energy extra strength coffee beverage in a can. That's what I'm talking about, Starbucks. Thank you for making this product extra strength or 225 milligrams of caffeine. I want it right now. That Starbucks coffee that you love, ready to drink, offered in classic flavors and now in 0 sugar. 4 core flavors: vanilla, dark roast, cafe mocha, and caramel. And there's 2 0 sugar flavors, black and vanilla. This is 0 sugar and dairy free. I love grabbing a can on the go. Take it and boom, I'm ready to take on the day because I have extra strength caffeine boosts making me rip people's heads off. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I love to do. What gives you energy? Find your Starbucks Tripleshot Energy online or at your local store. Do you ever do the thing where you get away, like right now you're in it, I'm saying, where you get away from cooking for a while and then you go like, oh, I actually enjoy, like I enjoy it. But here's the thing, I used to cook a lot more, and now I realize that I have not like done that in a while. Like gotten a recipe together and bought the things and made it myself, you know? And then I got fixated right before I flew here. I ordered a bunch of shit to make pasta at home. Like the from scratch. And I got like the sticks that you dry it on. And I bought it all. So I got a call. They're like, what? She's like, what is all this? I was like, oh, I'm making pasta from scratch. She's like, you are? And I'm like, yep. And she's like, when did you? I go, when I get back, she goes, you know how? I go, I'll fucking figure it out. And I just want to take this moment to say, don't fucking tell me how you do it. Okay? I don't care. Don't send me a fucking message or in the this is what I got it.
Did you get like a hand crank?
Yep.
Oh, wow. You're really going to do it.
Yeah. Just because I feel like it's been...
So there's a 50-50 chance this is going to end up like a wedding present.
It could,
yeah. It's going to end up with the bread maker in the closet or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, we'll see. I get back Saturday.
I've made those purchases before. But no, I cook all the time to the point, like it calms me. It's like it's not just a hobby. I'd rather cook my own food than eat at a restaurant where I'm like, I could have made this, or this is garbage. I don't know what they use. Is this butter? Is it canola oil?
I really only want to go to restaurants where I'm like, this is impressive.
Or it's stuff you can't do. Yeah. Indian restaurants. Like I'm not gonna. I can't. I've tried to make Indian food and it's fine. But why not go to the Indian place?
Yeah.
Chinese food. I'm not gonna be able to pull it off.
Right.
I hardly ever eat Chinese food. I don't know why.
I don't eat that much. No. No.
Thai.
I used to eat it more. There was like a period where I was eating it all the time.
Thai.
Here in LA. We had a good
guy like on Hollywood Boulevard. Thai.
Because there's like Thai Town.
And
then there's actually like every pocket of LA has at least a
pretty good Thai restaurant.
Thai restaurant. South Bay had a really good one that I would eat at a lot. But now it's been a while. I haven't had much Thai.
I didn't eat out hardly for the pandemic. I didn't order in at all. I cooked constantly.
You didn't do like
not really
pickup or anything?
Not really. Not hardly at all.
Sushi? Are you a sushi guy?
Yeah, but like I'll even
You make your own sushi?
Well, I just made some poke yesterday with some sea bass. Like, because the Fish King place, they'll cut up some albacore. They usually have a big chunk of tuna. They got sushi salmon. Then this sea bass I got yesterday. I like sushi. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I love sushi.
It's great, and they make sushi there too. Like I'm full on Fish King. They're gonna hate me for ruining, the quaintness of it.
Yeah, yeah. They make it there
because you're fucking the reach of this.
Oh no, people are gonna go.
Oh, they're gonna go to Fish King.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Hey, Maron told us.
Yeah.
This was the place.
And these guys gonna be like, it used to be nice.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, don't get the. Everyone, there's always a fucking racket, dude. Are these fucking nailed down?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Hey, wait, can I ask you this though?
What?
Do you feel, because I feel like most comedians.
That's just funny. We're an hour and I'm getting defensive. What now, Tom?
No,
haven't I done enough?
It's about acting. It's about acting though, because like everybody, if you go to the store, you could pull everyone and be like, "Have you done acting roles?"
Yeah,
and everyone will be like, "Yeah." Like you could find someone done this show and this movie and this one. But like, do you feel like now you're not a comic who's gotten some acting roles, but like you're a legit actor now too?
I don't know how I feel because like I was able to observe and know how comics handled it. Like when I got my own show, it was on IFC. So like no one watched it. And it was great. 4 seasons, I could just do whatever I wanted. It's a great show, but I learned how to be on TV. And I knew the first season or season and a half that I was not going to really know how to do it. And I'm just going to have to let that happen. Because like, you don't know, you can't fake it. You're on a set doing a thing you've never done before. You're going to have to take the hit. And I could see it. So
what could you see? That just your inexperience?
You just sort of like, you're not completely comfortable on a set. I didn't do that kind of training.
Sure.
I didn't, I wasn't in front of rooms crying, I was hiding the crying.
Yeah.
But actors, they stand in front of a group of people crying and they're all like, oh.
Yeah.
But as a comic, you're like, I'm not crying.
Yeah.
Look at me not crying.
Yeah.
So totally different. But I still am wary to call myself an actor, but I don't know why, because like there's only like a handful of amazing actors, and then there's just a bunch of people that are getting away with it.
Yeah, that's totally true. That is 100% true.
And and they know that. They're like, it's pretending. Like when you ask people like, what's your craft? I'm like, I don't know. It's like either you can do it or you can't.
Yeah.
But that's where that whole sort of sense of challenging myself, and I think there is, there's obviously better actors who can do stage and do all that stuff, but I think I'm getting better at it. I don't know if I'd call myself an actor, but I'm in this Jennifer Hudson movie, this Aretha Franklin movie that's going to come out in August. I think it's going to be big,
dude.
Yeah, it's the Aretha.
Did you ever see Aretha live?
No,
I did.
Great, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. I saw her in South Carolina at a 1,500 seat theater.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And it was amazing.
People love her.
Oh my God. I remember Danny Glover was at the show because she acknowledged him during the show.
Oh yeah.
And I also remember that, she came out and I mean, of course, place goes nuts and she sings, one of her songs and then.
Yeah. One of the big ones.
Yeah. And she's in one of the big ass dresses. She was huge.
Yeah.
And she would do like a little move and then she was like, all right, y'all. And she would walk off stage and you were like, is the show over? And then like 20 minutes later, she would come back in a new outfit and do like another song or two, and then
take a break.
And that's like the show was like 2+ hours of 6 outfits and like 9 songs.
Wow,
that was the show. But I mean, it was all the hits.
Yeah, that's the show. That is a show. I mean, those outfits aren't nothing.
Yeah,
that's like half the show. So you got a full show. You got like 10 songs, 10 outfits.
Yeah,
it's a full show.
It's a full show. It was incredible. I mean, it was great. The worst part is that with someone like that, their voice is so iconic and the songs mean so much to people. Everyone around you is singing the songs at full volume, like everything they've got. And you're like, I want to die. Like, just let her do it. That's why we're all here.
Is it why you're all there though?
Well, we want to hear this voice, not yours.
It's so weird. Like, I heard Paul McCartney, those poor people, like I heard Paul McCartney talking about, I'm not saying he's a victim in any way, Paul.
Yeah.
Because these guys, like, for some reason, I interviewed Paul, in a live event, Right.
Yeah.
And he's so funny because like I talk to a lot of these old dudes, these rockers, right?
Yeah.
And all of them really on some level have to believe and do that they're doing their best work now.
You have to, yeah.
You have to believe that. But I remember Paul, like I had to do it at Capitol Records for an event, so it was live. And I really thought I was going to get him. It's weird, even though he's a Beatle, like honestly, I'm a John guy. And I brought that with me. And I'm like, all right, so you're the living one. Yeah. So fuck. I busted his balls right out of the gate. Right when I met him, he was promoting one of the last couple of Egypt Station or whatever.
Yeah.
And right when I met him, I said, "How you doing, Paul? It's nice to meet you." So I from what I understand, Beatles is off the table, no deals. And he's like, "Okay." So, but what was so funny is I'm interviewing him, and I'm like, I talk to a lot of guys of your generation, and they, they usually feel like they're doing their best work now. Do you feel that way? And he looks at me and goes, "I was in the Beatles."
That's a great way to handle it.
Pretty high bar.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's never going to get there, man. Do you get nervous to interview someone like did you do like extra research or just like make sure you have a great question?
Well, live is different,
Yeah.
Because you got to play the audience too,
Yeah.
I just don't, it was so funny. Like, we started talking about Manson and he didn't realize that Manson had died. And I said, he's died. And he's like, oh, he did? That's my part in Beatle history. I'm the guy who told Paul McCartney that Charlie Manson was dead. Yeah.
He had no idea.
He didn't know. But why would he keep up? It's like he's going to get a telegram. It's over, Paul.
It's over, man.
He's going to be like, finally.
Manson's gone.
Yeah. So Helter Skelter can be what it was again.
Yeah.
Finally, that song is free from the... So, do I get nervous? I get nervous for different reasons.
Yeah.
I wasn't that nervous because he's such a pro,
Sure. Do you feel like the same type of like comfort like Obama? Like, or was that like more nerve-wracking?
Well, no, because like I really had to prepare that because I didn't want to talk about politics. I wanted to talk about him as a person, and I only had an hour, so I really had to plan that, which I don't usually do. And with Paul, there was somewhat of a plan, but it was loose, and I'm pretty loose usually.
Have you ever been really nervous for a guest?
Yeah, I have. Well, I definitely have been really nervous for guests.
For like a hero? Is it like a hero get or just
no? A lot of times with heroes, I just fanboy. Like with Keith Richards, I was nervous, because I'm like what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It's Keith, and,
yeah.
And you can hear it in my voice. I'm like, what? So you're what happened? And then, but I get nervous with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm more nervous when I'm concerned that someone doesn't talk than I am like,
of course.
Cause that's part of the way, what I like about doing it is I really don't know. Like I'm always full of dread before I talk to anybody. I mean, I had to talk to Ellen Burstyn yesterday and she's great. She's a great actress. And she's been in everything. And but she's 88 and it's going to be on Zoom, and I'm like, well, that's two things that could go terribly wrong, right? But people have gotten really kind of proficient, and she's got all she's really together and quick, and her memory was amazing, and it was great. So you never know, but I always have a very high amount of dread and anxiety. Like David Hidalgo from Los Lobos, I talked to him, and I was terrified because like the thing is like. Especially when you interview musicians or anybody that's been around for a while, it's like, I love Los Lobos. I love them. I love those 4 records. All right, what about the other 90? Oh, Christ. So I got to,
So do you start doing like...
I do.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't, I can't ever get it through my head that it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's like when, years ago I interviewed, what's his name, from Tool. What's that guy's name? The lead singer of Tool, the guy.
He'll pull it up right here.
Maynard, Maynard James Keenan from Tool. Now, Tool it was a huge, important thing to a lot of angry men.
Huge.
When they were younger.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about Tool, but they're like, "You want to interview Maynard?" I'm like, "I don't know anything about Tool." It's like, "All right."
Yeah. So
I always say, "All right."
Right. Of
and
course.
now I've got to cram Tool.
Right.
I mean, like, I'm not 15.
Yeah.
I don't hate my parents in that particular way. I take it out differently.
How did you handle it?
And I've been with women.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how to handle it because I'm not coming at it as a fan. But it's usually better because if I'm not a huge fan, the conversation becomes something that a fan wouldn't do. We ended up talking about when he seems to think that when he was working at a pet store that he had developed a way of placing the food on the shelves that was, probably revolutionary. And we talked about parrots for 20 minutes. Now, no one's going to get that Maynard interview.
Not if they're super fans.
Yeah.
No.
And the super fans are like, fuck, man, I had no idea. Like, they can't get on you about it.
Right.
Even when I interviewed Springsteen, which was heavy, all those guys who know everything about that motherfucker, they were like, whoa, okay.
Because you weren't asking the typical, you weren't a big Springsteen guy?
I like Springsteen, but again, like, I didn't see 90 shows. Like I have I think I have initially an innate sort of lack of respect for most people. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just there. It's sort of like, what? Yeah. What do you do? And it's like, it serves you. I do, because one thing I've learned over time, that all these guys are people.
Right.
And, and Bruce was that Bruce moment is like one of my favorite things that ever happened on the podcast, because like, that guy's got his public persona is so like, hey man, we're just hanging out with the guys.
Yeah.
We're down on the shore. And it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And I read some of his book, and he's a dark motherfucker, and he's hard on himself.
Really?
And I'm like, it's in the book. And I'm like, I don't talk to that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So I just remember I'm waiting at his place. I'm at his place. I'm at the stable house where he keeps his guitars and his motorcycle, and the big house is up there. And me and my producer are just waiting there with our little setup, around his shit. And then he comes walking down, and it's like December, late December. And like he sits down, he's bringing his book. He doesn't know me what to expect, So, and he just sits down, and I go like, so is this pretty crazy up at the house with the Christmas stuff and the presents and everything, the wife and the kids? And he just looks at me and goes, correct. And I'm like, I'm in. I'm in. Talk to this guy.
Yeah. This guy's got a little snark to him.
Correct.
Yeah, I just never I guess someone broke it down for me once, like the church of Springsteen, like the obsession. I'm always like, I don't know. I never got into it. I obviously knew who he was and knew like hit songs, but I'm like, I don't know. And then I started to resent the cult.
Oh,
like the people,
Sure.
And someone said to me, well, the thing is, what you're doing is you're going, I guess I don't understand what they're feeling about, like, I'm just going like, I just don't feel the thing that you're feeling.
Yeah.
When you see, because people are like, have you seen this show?
Are they from New Jersey?
Some of them.
Yeah.
But like, then people would go, you got to watch this show.
Yeah.
And they send me like a link to a show, and I'm like, yeah, no, dude.
Yeah, 3 hours long.
Yeah. Like and the guys looking at each other and always like,
yeah.
And like, jam back and forth. I go, yeah, it's a band. Like the music is not speaking to me. I'm not going like, oh my God.
Right.
But to those people,
they love it.
There's just nothing that compares.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with the live show, and a lot of it has to do with, New Jersey and the spirit of it all, and the group thing, like I can listen to a few of those early records,
Yeah.
And I've listened to I just remembered like, man, the pressure that was on that guy after 9/11, remember when he's like, Bruce will do it.
Bruce will do it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to fix it. It's like everyone's waiting for Bruce to come out with the song that's going to make everything okay.
God.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
the pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
Come on down for the rise. And you're like, yeah,
that's all right. It didn't bring the towers back.
They got us over the hump for a couple days. It was pretty easy.
Oh man, this was a lot of fun, Mark. Thank you for coming today, man.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you, man. And I guess I'll see you tonight at the store, huh?
Yeah, I'll see you tonight at the store. You also, you have a podcast?
I do. I have a podcast, WTF. You can get on wherever you get podcasts. Me and Dean have a few of those Dark Fonzies up.
Dark Fonzies are going.
I got some dates coming up in August.
In August, yeah. Plug your August dates. Oh, you got?
There you go. If you go to WTFpod.com/tour, we got August 5th at the Comedy Works in Denver. And then we're going to do, that's a few days. I'm trying to work stuff out, Tom.
I got you.
I'm not like you. You guys are like, I'll just do a theater tour and work this stuff out. It's okay if I do open mic for 2,000 people. I'll be a wise guys.
And you're doing stand-up live in Phoenix?
For one
12th?
night, yeah. I'm wary of Arizona. Utah, for some reason, is okay. That's
Wise Guys is great.
Helium in St. Louis. Don't know why I'm going to Missouri, but I think you know why I'm doing this is like I'm not going to play theaters in St. Louis. Not going to happen.
So you just go like, I'll just do the club there.
Well, yeah, because like if you want to put the work in, but your ticket prices are usually a lot higher than me because I don't know. I guess people think that it's a special night.
I don't know.
Do a thing.
I don't know.
So This is where Mark shits on the host. I don't know what you're doing up there, but people seem to enjoy it.
You're like,
a lot of dudes like you.
How those shows working out, love, man. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I don't know.
That was his tag, love mess.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, man. I really got a weird amount of envy right now to people that just write their bits, because like everything's got to unfold for me on stage, through process.
Yeah.
So like after the pandemic, I'm like, I got no process. I'm like, it was fucking dark for me. So now I'm like, at blank slate, and I'm doing like the entire month of July at Dynasty Typewriter. I'm just going to improvise through hours. Great. Yeah.
That's
to
great.
See if I can land on something before.
When are you doing Dynasty?
July. All the Thursdays in July.
Yeah.
So this will be on.
I've been in clubs now for months. I've been doing clubs, like trying to like just
work it out.
Yeah. I've been doing clubs. I started doing clubs in October last year.
Distanced.
Because it was reduced capacity, but it was just to get on stage and start. And I was doing like 6 and 8 show weekends because I wanted to get as many reps as I could.
Oh, that's good, man. Because I guess maybe I was just nervous, or I didn't feel like it, or I wasn't up to it. I didn't do anything until the store opened. Yeah. I didn't do any of the outdoor shit. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I did. I hated the outdoor stuff.
People were asking me to do it. I'm like, I've been doing this. I finally gotten to the point where in my career where I don't have to do that.
No, you don't.
What am I going to hurt myself? I don't need it that bad.
No, you don't have to do it.
So now I'm just trying to work this shit out, and I don't really know. I haven't planned a big tour. But what I was going to say is, like, in some of the markets where I'm not huge, or I can't sell out a theater, maybe I can even. But if you do 5 shows at a club with a door deal, you can do all right.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's silly that we get to make that kind of living.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You get used to it, and then sometimes you just talk to somebody, and it reminds you, like, this is an insane. Like, we're so fortunate.
Oh, dude, do you remember when you would get like 600 to middle? You'd be like, holy shit, I'm killing.
Yeah, I'm killing, and then they'll be like, well, I did have to buy a $450 plane ticket to get there.
but it's worth it because I'm going to headline when I go back.
Yeah, and then for some reason they're not having me back. There's clubs that wouldn't have me back for like 7 years,
dude. Acme,
and I'm like,
Acme, a decade. That guy. And then out of nowhere, he just at the Montreal Comedy Festival, he just came up to me and started groveling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you ought to be.
Yeah.
This is like one of the best clubs in the country. And because I tried to fuck one of your waitresses, I'm an asshole forever.
And she finally died, so you're welcome back. All right. Well, go see Mark. Listen to his stuff. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. All right.
Bert and Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call 2 Bears, 1 Cave. No scripts, a bit of booze, amateur partology. Dirty jokes, raunchy humor, no apologies. Here's what we call 2 Bears, 1 Cave.